and we have our test. I don't think some of you are listening. Let me say it one more time.
Yo, stop there.
Today we review 2 more days, and then we take our test. So we're gonna have a test next week. Someday, yeah, if you're on the day that is, but we're gonna have a test. So let's see how ready.
They didn't check her ID either.
If I turn this on or not.
It's on. I'll make sure it's on.
Oh my gosh. This stuff is the best stuff ever in the whole wide world.
Yeah, like it's crack or something.
It is like, it's so good. No, when I was sick, in treatment, I had to eat 70 grams of protein a day. Now, I don't know if you guys know, that is a ton. Especially when, like, I don't like meat very much, it's hard. But one of these little guys has 30 grams in it. And it's so
You was
good.
down in 30
I
of
was
them.
down in a lot of it. But it has a lot of calories, but that's okay.
They got the Hennessy. She got happy.
That is
You be good stuff.
Alright, I bought that stuff by the case.
Oh, I didn't even know they made them by the case.
They made me do protein powder. Oh, it's disgusting. Have you ever had protein powder? I had to make smoothies with protein powder.
He has the
And I
same
just
system.
put
He
that
didn't
stuff.
put the labels on right.
Alright, change it to degrees.
She had a group on that.
No, we didn't.
How do we do it? It's easy. 3 times 180 divided by 5. So I believe if my math is right, that's 108. I think. But you can check that, of course, by doing it yourself, because the idea is you're doing it. You know how to do it? Alright, how do I change 250 into radians? Pi over 180 equals x over 250. That's exactly right. And then I will cross multiply. Some of you are getting kind of confused because you're losing sight of the fact that we need to get x by itself, which means we have to divide by 180, right? That's the objective. We're not solving for pi, we're solving for x. We want x by itself. So we'll reduce our fraction, and I think that's about all we can do with that. 25 pi over 8. All right, these were things we did on the very first day of this unit. Easy, right? Easy. Now, number 3, we're doing arc length. So I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to put my normal picture in there. This is the setup when you're doing arcs. Okay? Now, what do I know? This is a 40-degree angle, and the radius is 10, and I need to find my arc length. That is not a 5, that is an S. I need to find my arc length. Who remembers the formula for arc length? Exactly. Arc length, and that's S. That's S right there. Arc length is radius times radians. You don't have to call that S. You can call it X. Call it anything you want. That's what we're finding. And we find it by multiplying the radius times the radian measure of the angle. Okay? Now, what's the matter? The angle is in degrees. So we are going to do exactly what we just did right here so that we can get the radian measure of that angle. We know the radius is 10. So, what did we do over here? We said pi over 180 equals something over 40. This is like a problem within a problem. Right? Ty, was that your paper I turned back? All right, so 180x equals 40 pi. Let's see, 4 over 18 is 2 over 9. Now, somebody's going to get excited and put that in the answer blank. That is not the answer. What is that? That's the radian measure of the angle. So I'm gonna put 2 pi over 9 right here. And now I'm gonna multiply 10 over 1 times 2 pi over 9, and what am I gonna get? 20 pi over 9, multiply straight across, and the unit is inches. That arc length right there is 20 pi over 9 inches long. This is the no calculator part of the test. So you're gonna leave your answer just like that.
When we get our own sheet of the test.
It depends. You don't get your own sheet. I will have a sheet for you, but it won't, for the people who take it on time. But it won't be everything on the orange sheet, but it'll be like the orange sheet. All right, number 4. Find the value of all 6 trig functions. And I listed them there for you. So we've done lots of these. We have to find sine and cosine and tangent, and cosecant and secant and cotangent. Now we know that the tangent is 1/2. That is given. Okay? We also know, and this is the part that might confuse you just a bit till we talk about it. We also know that when we draw our angles, it has to be between 180 and 270. So think of your setup, your angle setup, not your compass, your angle setup. And we have to be between 180 and 270. So where will I be drawing my triangle? Do not draw it here. That would be wrong. We're going to be down here. So my butterfly bow tie, they're telling me draw it in quadrant 3. And the tangent, which is opposite over adjacent, is 1/2. Remember, this is always your angle right here. And I want you to look carefully at that picture. Is there anything wrong?
No.
He's got the both be negative. Now, you'll look at me and say, Mrs. Ford, there's no negatives in the problem because they canceled out. Why do there have to be negatives in the problem? Because I'm in quadrant 3. Right? All right, what's next? Pythagorean theorem. This is your A and your B. Remember, when you square them, they get positive. So it looks like this is going to be the square root of 5.
Yep.
4 plus 1. Now we can fill everything in, right? This side is opposite, this is adjacent, so here we go. Sine is -1 over root 5. You with me?
Yep.
So -root 5 over 5. Cosine is -2 over root 5. -2 root 5 over 5. Tangent was 1/2. What's cosecant? Cosecant is reciprocal of sine. So that's going to be -root 5 over 1. Secant is -root 5 over 2 because it's the reciprocal of the cosine. And cotangent is 2 over 1 or 2. Alright? So we draw a picture, finish the triangle, Pythagorean theorem. right, now we've got a few problems that are just like your two-problem quiz you took. You have to find the cosine of 3 pi over 4. So who remembers, you gotta just have a process. Who remembers the process here? What do we do? 3 times 180 divided by 4, so that's gonna be 135. So then we draw our 135 using our angle setup. So it'll be here. That's my 135 line. Now right here is the angle you care about. Right there. How many degrees is it from 135 to 180? 45? Which means my triangle is 1 root 2. Okay. Any negatives? Lemos says this guy right here is negative. Remember, I've said this like lots of times. If you're not in quadrant 1, something will be negative. Okay. All right, here we go. Cosine 135. The adjacent over hypotenuse. Did you get negative 1 over root 2? There we go. Tangent, 5 pi over 6, exactly the same thing. Change 5 pi over 6. I heard somebody say 150. So we're using our angle setup. So I think we're over here in quadrant 2 again. Evan's drawn this triangle right here, just as he should. And now we got to figure out that angle right there. That is the one we care about. How big is it? 30. So we'll look at our sheet. Hopefully we have it memorized. 1 root 3, 2. And the root 3 will be negative. Left. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, negative root 2. Okay. Everybody okay with that? That was what we did on our quiz the other day. All right, sine pi. Same kind of problem, sine pi, which is the sine of 180 degrees. Uh-oh. 180 is on the line, right? So we'll draw our circle. We're going to let the radius be 1, which is going to make this point what? Negative 1, comma, 0. There's the origin. Left 1, up 0. So x is negative 1, y is 0, and r is 1. I want sine. If you don't remember, look at your sheet. What sign? On the circle, what sign? Y over r. So y over r is 0. The sine of pi is 0. Secant, 5 pi over 3. That one's not on a line. 5 pi over 3 is what? Anybody know? 300. Alright, so let's go. that up? Where is 300 going to be? Right down here. Here's 300. How do we draw our triangle? Butterfly bow tie, right? So it's gonna be right here, just like that. Now we gotta find the angle right here. Remember, we come around 300. How much more do we have to go to get to 360? Isn't that 60 right there? So root 3, 1, and 2. Charlie, you okay back there?
Negative root 3.
And the root 3 is negative. Down. Now, secant. Secant is reciprocal of cosine. So it is hypotenuse over adjacent. So that's going to be just 2 over 1. So far, so good.
I understand it now.
Uh-oh, now things are getting a little tricky. Now, this notation means that my answer is going to be an angle. So my answer is going to be something like 45 degrees. It's going to be degrees. I don't know the angle. I know that opposite over hypotenuse is negative root 3 over 2. I'm going to draw a picture, but I have to figure out where to draw the picture. Remember, if that number is positive, we draw it in quadrant 1 every time. But since it's negative, it's a sign. Who remembers what quadrant that is? 4. Remember, tangent and sine are 4, and cosine is 2. When we're doing inverse sine. All right, so I'm down here in quadrant 4. I know opposite over hypotenuse looks like that. Would you agree with that? How big is this angle? 60 across from the root 3. But don't write down 60 as the answer, because you didn't go up to get that 60, you came down to get it, so the answer will be negative 60. That is probably the hardest question on the test. There's a lot to remember there. A lot to remember. And, just for fun, we have another one. Inverse cosine, negative 1 over root 2. Which quadrant are we going to draw that in? 2. Quadrant 2. And for those of you saying, how did she know it was quadrant 2? Because it's an inverse cosine, negative. So inverse sine and tangent, negative, are 4. Inverse cosine, negative, is 2. Inverse anything positive is 1. All right, what do I know? Adjacent and hypotenuse. Cosine. Any idea what that angle is right there? 45. The answer is not 45. 45 would look like this, right? And that's not what it looks like. The answer is going to be this angle right here. Because we have to be in quadrant 2, which means we have to be between 90 and 180. Would you agree with me? So think about it. I'm looking at that red angle now. How big is that red angle? Use your logic.
135.
135. The answer is 135. Remember, this is 180. This is something that's 45 before 180. So that would be 135 degrees. Number 6, I don't remember talking much about this. Let's see if we can figure this out. Number 6 says, I want the sign to be positive. You need to interpret greater than 0 to mean positive. Alright? So the sign is positive. And the cotangent is negative. Now I want you to look at your circular definitions. That is x over r, y over r, those definitions. What is sine? Y over r. So if sine is positive, then y has to be positive. Where is y positive? Here and here, would you agree? Now I need cotangent to be negative. What does it say about cotangent? What is cotangent? X over y. So if I put x over y, will I be negative in that quadrant? Am I ever negative in that quadrant?
No.
No. How about this quadrant? Wouldn't x be negative?
Yeah.
And y positive? So this is my answer. Quadrant 2. And quadrant 2.
God bless.
Remember, and this is on your sheet, it'll be on the sheet I let you use. Cosine is associated with x. Sine is associated with y. So if you need sine to be positive, then y's got to be positive. All right, now we got some sketching. Hopefully you did well on your little quiz. I want to remind you one more time, tomorrow is the last day to contribute cereal. So I know we don't have class, but that doesn't stop you from coming in here before school and dropping off your cereal. Just make sure you tell me that you're dropping it off, so I can give you your edit. Okay? Bring it in. We need lots. That's going to one facility, the back's going to another facility. We still have 2 more facilities to do, and we only have this much. So let's bring in that cereal. All right, here we go. This is just like your quiz. What shape do we have? Cosine? Let's label it. How about vertically? 2/3 and negative 2/3. These should be 90, 180, 270, 360. But what am I doing? I'm dividing by a 4th, which is the same as timesing by 4. It doesn't matter to me which way you do it, you guys, but you better come up with 360 right here. And 720, 1080, and 1440. The amplitude of the curve is 2/3, and the period is 1440. Anybody have a question about that? Are we good? The quiz we just took was 6 points. The test is 100. You need to get this right. All right, y equals 2 tan. So what a tangent looks like. No vertical labels because there is no amplitude. These should be negative 90 and 90. they still negative 90 and 90?
Yeah.
Because there's no number in there to change it. Remember, this is the number that affects your horizontal. See how we divided by 4th here? I don't have a number, so it stays the same. No amplitude, and the period is 180. Very good. And finally, we have our sine curve. What's the test look like? This, right. So you're gonna have to graph. Here we go. Be careful, this is a negative sign. So it looks like that. What are my vertical labels?
3 and negative 3.
Which means my amplitude is 3. These should be 90, 180, 270, 360, but I am dividing them by 2/3. Now, somehow you have to be able to figure that out. 90 divided by 2/3 is the same as 90 times 3/2. So it doesn't matter how you do it. Do it however it works for you, but you better get 135 right here. And then this one will be 270,
405.
405, 5/3, 6/3,
540.
5.
Ms. Ford,
Yeah.
how do you type that into a calculator?
Hmm?
How do you type that math
You
into a
can't.
So how do you do that?
You do it like this.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. So I keep doing this because that's what you learned like in 6th grade,
Yeah.
and that's how we gotta do it.
Okay.
When we don't have parentheses. All right, speaking of calculators, get them out. Now we're ready for the calculator page. Your test will be, one page calculator and one page no calculator. Just like this. All right, so convert to degrees, minutes, and seconds.
Mode.
So, who remembers, who can guide us through this?
Mode.
Well, okay, so a good idea is to check mode to make sure you're in degrees, which you probably are, but good to check. And then we type
18.775.
18.775, yep, second angle DMS. And you should get 18 degrees, 46 minutes, and 30 seconds. Eli, where's your calculator? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Who else doesn't have one? No, you're gonna get one. It's not acceptable not to have one. Where's your, yeah, right there, okay, to see it. Everybody else has one? You mean everybody has one, but you honest? Charlie, you got a calculator back there? You're awesome. Oh, Eli, don't you feel like it? Okay, Eli. Can you go to a baseball game without your mitt? Oh, coach, it's in my car. How's that go? He's sitting his butt on the bench. All right, did everybody get this right here? Okay, now, remember, the test looks just like this. So there's gonna be a section on the test that is like number 9. So the first thing I would suggest you do is put a little check mark or write degree or put a D or something next to all the problems with degrees. So the problems with degrees are going to be A and D and E and F. Would you agree with that? Those are the problems that have degree marks in them. So we're going to do those four first because our calculator is set in degrees. Here we go. Number one, A. Sine 28 second angle degree, 14 second angle minute. We're rounding to the 10,000. So can you somebody give me an answer? Point what? 4731? All right. Now we're skipping to D. How do we type secant 19? No. 1 divided by cosine 19. To put a secant into your calculator, it's 1 divided by cosine. Okay, let me say that again. To put a secant in, it's 1 divided by cosine. If you don't have the button, you have to do 1 divided by. All right, so I got, this is D, I got 1.0576. What about you?
Yep.
E, oh gosh, if you missed E, things are sad. Cosine 98, negative 0.1392.
Yep. 1 divided by.
Now, how do we do F?
1 divided by sine.
1 divided by sine, 15 second angle degrees, 19 second angle minutes, and then 11 alpha plus.
Yes.
And I got 3.7849. All right, we good? Now we have to go back and do the two that we skipped. So before I do those two, I'm going to go to my calculator, press mode, and change it into radians. Now listen, you guys. The only time on this test that your calculator should be in radians is this section right here that we're working on. All the rest of the test is going to be in degrees. So right now I'm changing it into radians so I can do these two problems, but then I'm going to change it back. So tangent 1.15.
2.2.
I got 2.2345. No, 2.2345. And then for C, I have that button, guys. Do you see the second cosine button?
Yep.
So we're going to press second cosine, 0.376. And we get 1.1853.
I'm cooking.
Okay? Now, if you look at problem 10, problem 10A, you see a degree mark in that problem?
Yep.
So that means I'm going to go to mode, and I'm going to change my calculator into degrees. It is awkward having to change back and forth, but we have to. But the only time you should be in radian mode is for those few problems in number 9. Otherwise, the entire thing is going to be in degrees. All right, so here we go. We're going to solve this triangle. Some of us have been having issues with this in our, homework, so let's get this figured out here. With regard to this angle right here, which side is this? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Adjacent. And this one is hypotenuse. So I can look at my sheet, or ideally, remember SOHCAHTOA, and adjacent and hypotenuse will be cosine. So cosine x, always, always, always the angle goes with the cosine. So cosine x equals adjacent over hypotenuse. How do I type that in?
Multiply by 4. Oh.
These are the tricky ones. When your variable is the angle, you go straight to this. Remember that? When your variable is the angle, when your angle is x, there's no math. Don't multiply, add, don't do any of that stuff. Go straight to second cosine 11/14. And the answer is 38 point, tell me how to run, I'm gonna do 100, 38.21 degrees.
How come the 11 is adjacent, not opposite?
Huh?
How come the 11 is not opposite?
Because my angle's right here this time, Darius.
Okay.
This would be the opposite side. With that angle. So I have to take whatever picture I've been given. I would never draw that picture like in a word problem or something, but that's the picture I have. So this is adjacent, this is opposite for that angle. All right. Now I have a different picture, a different triangle set up.
There's no bananas.
So Jarius, here's my angle. Which side is this? Opposite. Which side is this? Adjacent. Yep. For that picture, that's how it's set up. So what function does opposite and adjacent? Tangent. So tan 28 equals 13 over x. Now, am I going to use this special button? No. I only use that special button when x is the angle. I'm going to multiply by x, do the math, in other words, and divide. Well, I hope you're paying attention.
What?
Mhm.
That's Kaya.
I got 24.45. Alright, come on, we gotta get through some more. Here we go. Draw a course of 118 degrees. And notice, I am such a kind person. I even set your little compass up for you.
Thank you.
So we remember that on a compass, here's 0.
Yep.
90, 180, 270. You have to remember that. That's what a compass looks like. So where will 118 be?
Between 90.
Just like this. So that's what you draw. That's all you have to do. There's no part 2 to that. It's just draw it.
Nice.
There it is. Now this next one. There was one of these in your homework. And I know there was some confusion, so let's go through this very carefully. Make sure you understand what it is you're supposed to do. You're going to do this problem twice. We're going to do it by hand first. That means exact. Exact means by hand.
Chris, if you turn the lights off,
So let's do that first. I'm going to draw a picture of the parentheses. What quadrant should I draw my picture in? 1. How do I know it's 1? Because that number right there is positive. The tangent is 2/5. Opposite over hypotenuse, or excuse me, opposite over adjacent. My angles here. Now what do I do next? I'm doing this by hand, so what do I do next? Pythagorean theorem to finish off the picture.
Yep.
So let's figure out what that is.
29.
I hear root 29, 25 and 4. Now the picture's done. What do I want to know? I want to know the sign. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, or 2 root 29 over 29. What do you think?
I like it.
So that we've done the problem by hand. Okay? Now we're going to do it on the calculator. And the beautiful thing is, do you have a button that looks like this, sine? Do you have a button that looks like this, second tangent? Yeah, you just type it in. So you just type sine, second tangent, 2 divided by 5. And the answer is 0.3713906764. Now, you don't have to write all that down. I did because we're gonna observe something. Okay? So did everybody get that? So type this in. You don't need parentheses, you don't need anything, the calculator does it all. Sine, second tangent, 2/5. Alright? Now, I'd like you to type this in on your calculator. Just type 2 divided by the square root of 29. And what do you notice? It's exactly the same thing. So you did the problem by hand. This is called the exact answer. And then you did it on the calculator, and you got 0.3714 approximately. All right, let's get a word problem done here. I put 5 word problems on here for practice. The test will have 5. Maybe something like that. Here we go. A squirrel is sitting in the top of a tree. Here's the squirrel on the top of the tree, 76 feet tall. He's looking at a nut on the ground. His angle of depression is 37.8 degrees. Kaya, does that picture work for you? Now, find the distance from the nut to the base of the tree. I'm going to put my X right there. Right? So what do we got? Sine, cosine, tangent. Tangent. 37.8 equals opposite over adjacent. What do you do next? Multiply by X. Good. Don't just sit there and write down what I do. Do it. Make sure you understand what you're doing. And then we will divide by 37.8. So 76 divided by tangent 37.
0.0.
Nearest hundredth would be 97.98 feet.
Wait.
97.98 feet.
Oh, I did not.
All right, we'll stop there because we don't have time to do another one. Remember,
Yeah, last year.
we'll have a test
Next Tuesday.
next
Wednesday.
one day next